afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're listening or watching from. Welcome to International Pagan World Cafe. I am one of your three hosts, Reverend Lori Blackman, and with me is
Lady Lori Denman.
and
Lord Silas Mimir. Hello.
welcome everyone. And our guests today are Lord.
Lord
You can introduce
Konstantinos Fotiadis from Shepherd of Hermes, Greece.
And
and
Lady Talia.
Lady Thalia. Awesome. So, just a little background. This show has been created to help the international Karelian community feel more integrated with the Karelian community in the United States. And so, once a month for the next year, we will be doing a show pulling Karelians from all around the world together. And hopefully, all of you watching will participate in the chat, get to know our Karelian family from around the world, overseas, Spain, Greece, South Africa. We are so all over the place, and this is one of the things that Lady Lori had come up with to try and get everybody to stop and get going.
Welcome to International Pagan World Cafe, where Karelians and other notables from around the world share a cup of coffee or tea and chat. Viewers can interact with the hosts and guests during the live broadcast through chatting through the social media tool they are viewing the show on. So grab a cup of coffee or tea and sit down a spell with today's wonderful lineup.
There you go.
So wonderful. So, who wants
So I
to?
would like to tell a little bit about the origin of this show. I recently was blessed to spend a week or so with the Serpent of Hermes Temple in Athens. And during conversations, because nothing happens without at least a 2-hour break at the coffee shop to discuss whatever is next on the agenda, comments were made about how Corellians that are not on the US time zones don't have the opportunity to interact live with people in the tradition. So, consulting the ancestors, they asked me what I was going to do about it, and then they told me what I was going to do about it. So, here we are. So, we will be having guests between now and year end from Spain. Obviously, we have Greece today, Uruguay, the Philippines, and many other locations around the world, South Africa as well. So, we have about 50 people that we'd like to reach out to over the course of the life of the show. So we're going to keep going as long as we can go and get guests. If you know someone that you think would be a great guest to have on the show, please feel free to email us at internationalpaganworldcafe@gmail.com and send us your recommendations. Lady Lori?
Awesome. So, Reverend Constantinos, can you tell us a little bit about the temple in Greece, where you came up with the name, and the deities that are involved with it?
Well, Serpent of Hermes is a project that has begun years before it actually was established. And that journey begins at 2011 when I met Lady Thalia, Reverend Hara, and other members of the temple, of the later temple. And since I was already a member of the Divine Flame, the first shrine in Greece, back in 2006, I knew that the Corellian tradition was a place, was a big family, that wanted to have a temple in Greece, wanted to have a presence here. So, after much training of all the priests we have, of Lady Thalia, of Priestess Hara, Ion, our artist, and other members, I thought it was time to establish a temple that would be a base for all the Corellian family to come together in Greece. So at 2017, I meditated. I meditated a lot. I thought about the symbol, the name, and then a dream came to me with our symbol, the two snakes, the torque, or the staff of Hermes bent in a circle, and the name of the Hermes of the god that connected the spiritual plane and the physical plane. And there was the origins of the name and of the symbol. Yeah, that's it.
Awesome. And
What
Lady,
we did is we celebrate, we move with the archetypes as we are taught from the first degree. We use all the archetypes and we let our members to choose their personal deities that they can incorporate in their rituals. But whenever we gather, whenever we have a ritual, we prefer to work with archetypes, but sometimes, like in SBATs, we go a little more personal, and the one organizing the ritual chooses their deities.
that's beautiful.
Mm.
So, Lady Thalia, understand you're not at the same location as the Constantinos, but you both head the order. How does the dynamics work with being in two different locations in Greece?
Well, it's a kind of a parallel road, two parallel roads that in some way they connect. Maybe in a non-Euclidean geometry. We have different ways to lead our teams, but we are all in a big family, and we give to each other different ways to develop themselves. So I think this is very interesting to us and to them both.
Awesome. I think that's a beautiful thing that you're so far apart and you bring the north, the south, and everybody in the middle together. That's great. Lord Silas, do you have a question you want to grab?
I sure do. So tell me a little bit about how the Greek deities have been Americanized to bring their roots more mainstream or bring us back more to the roots of the Greek deities.
Are you asking me?
Whoever would like to start.
Okay. Because I haven't heard you well.
Oh,
You are talking about all the Greek goddess, or did you say?
yes, the Greek gods. How would you, what do you think, excuse me, how have they been Americanized and
Mhm.
how can they be brought back to tradition?
Yes. Well, first of all, I don't think that that Americanizing thing is something bad, because the roots are roots, but they have to sprout, and they have to give whatever the place needs, and that every place has different needs, social or spiritual, and that it's a good thing that some gods and goddesses from the past are now developed to something different maybe, but have their roots. So for me it's okay, this Americanizing thing, but whoever wants to learn more about the roots, we are here, and he or she can connect with us and talk about it.
I love that. What do you think, Konstantinos?
Well, hello. Firstly, it's nice to meet you finally, to see the faces behind the camera,
Thank you.
behind the chats and the text. The Americanization and the general change of the Greek deities is not something new. We've seen it with the Romans when they borrowed or they developed their pantheon based on the Greek pantheon. It's only natural to for the deities to involve among the different cultures and civilizations they come across. And as Talia said, it's a good thing to have this development, this change, and it's also good and accessible now for everyone that wants to know about the Greek gods and deities to come and ask, to discuss, to see the difference, to see the development of those deities. Yeah.
I
Awesome.
love that. I love that. What, Konstantinos, what is your favorite um, myth from Greek mythology? Your favorite story?
My favorite story would be the stories of Aesopus. They're not about the deities per se, but they're about the struggles and the challenges a hero must face to develop himself or themselves, and so they can get to the higher level of consciousness. It seems like our journey through priesthood, through the exercises, through whatever spiritual journey we take, and that's why I really relate to them, to these stories.
Very good. I like that. I like that. Thalia, what's your favorite story?
Well, I don't have favorite things in many things.
Hmm.
I can't answer things like that.
Okay.
But I can tell you that I love working very much with God Pan and the goddess Celine. And
Very
I
good.
like very much the myth talking about them and their love.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Lori.
Well,
Lori
I'd like
B.
to talk to you a little bit about the experience that you all gave me during my visit. So, Konstantinos, would you like to start off with my arrival at the temple?
I'll take it 2 months back when you first sent us the message that you're going to visit. And to be honest, we're a lot excited and a little freaked out. It was the first time someone from the Corellian tradition from the headquarters would be visiting. And it was a great honor from one hand and a great challenge from the other because we didn't know how to act. Should we be very official? Should be casual? How would react? And then she arrived. We had our Yule celebrations, our Yule ritual, and she was so friendly. She was like a family. We just met her and she was a family.
Mm.
That feeling was so strong that helped us move on with the ritual and have our hand fastings because in that ritual we had two hand fastings too. And the blessing and the message that Lori shared was very emotional and very to the point. With two couples she didn't know, she had a perfect message to provide.
Beautiful.
And then our journey started. The visit to Acropolis, the visit to Cape Sunium, the Temple of Poseidon, and then to Delphi, to the Oracle of Delphi. And of course, he gave us something we wanted to have again from a member of the Corellian family too, our third degree initiation. I had it back in 2008. Saya had it from me at 2016. But to have it from Lori, it was a new experience.
Mm.
And that gave us new oracles, new ways to work with the temple, new ways to work with ourselves.
So you want to share a little bit about your oracles?
Well, my oracle was about a young lady that would help develop both the tradition and the spiritual path of Greece. And I don't know how that is going to happen, but it was very different from other oracles I had. Actually, I remember my first oracle that was about finding members and people that would work with us to develop the Wiccan stage in Greece, and that actually happened.
Yeah, I remember vividly that both of your oracles were correlated, and that it was about opening yourself up to new ways of doing things and to new people, and allowing the organic growth of the temple, not only in Greece but further, helping others grow the tradition in Europe. Um, there is a lot of discussion when you're with these lovely people. And everything happens at a cafe. So that's the impetus for this show, is to kind of make it casual conversation as in a cafe. Um, I was blessed to immediately be immersed in the culture of the temple. Many people were at the ritual that I got to meet. Um, they have become my big Greek family, and it has just been a joy to nurture that relationship even when I'm not there. I was very honored when you asked me to join the Temple of Serpent of Hermes Temple as an honorary member. It meant a whole lot to me. Thalia, what were your impressions? You didn't meet me until a few days later. So what were your thoughts about my visit?
I felt immediately this family kind of bond. I immediately wanted to hug you very tight and feel you. You have a very motherly energy, and it moved me very much. I felt that I knew you already, as other members of our temple felt the same way, I think, because we talk about it. And I think that we are not by accident, all of us here talking right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the ancestors had a lot to do with this. For those of you that don't know, I recently retired, and one of my goals is to visit as many Corellian shrines and temples as possible. I prepared to have a travel budget, and I intend to spend every dime of it.
Good.
I love that.
Fantastic.
Next country I'm hitting is Spain, and I'll be there the end of April and early May. So
Wonderful.
Thalia alluded to our conversation. At the coffee house, we all decided that we were not people that we had just met, but we were all Corellian family. And when you are a Corellian, you are immediately family to every other Corellian. The great family is a real thing. And Konstantinos mentioned headquarters. Well, I am by no means from the headquarters. um, yeah, as an elder of the tradition, I realize that people may be a little nervous to meet me, and immediately work hard to knock those barriers down. And we decided that we were old friends that were just catching each other up. It was not any feeling of this is the first time I've met these people. I have to behave myself. They got the real me, and I really feel
That's
like I
good.
got the real them.
Awesome.
So, Lori, you got another?
I do. So, here in a lot of, when I say here in the United States and in many countries overseas, it is very hard to practice paganism. People are being crucified and battered and beat on a daily basis, especially in the African countries. How hard is it to practice in Greece? Do you have ramifications? If you get caught,
Yeah,
is it open?
that's actually a good question because according to UN, any religion is freely practiced. But we all know that's not the case. In Greece, we have the Christian Orthodox religion that is actually recognized by the Constitution of Greece. There is an article mentioning that the main religion of Greece is Christian Orthodox, and that's an issue when you want to practice any other religion. It took 15 years, 15 to 16 years for the native Greek religion to be recognized as a non-religion in Greece.
Oh, wow.
And we're following their steps as a way to recognize Wicca as a non-religion to Greece so that we have actual rights of practice outside. We can practice in our homes, in places that we may rent, as we did with the Yule ritual. But to practice freely, you need to have a recognized religion or a non-religion acting in a country. And that's not easy. They need at least 300 people signing in public records, and that may frighten some of the people that want to join because they know that their names are not protected and they can be targets of um, hate religion acts.
And
Wow.
But we're working on that.
didn't you share
We've
with me that?
established a non-profit organization that is separate of Hermes. Legally, we're recognized as a non-profit organization, and we work on gathering more people and having more rights recognized to us.
Didn't you mention to me also, Konstantinos, that religion is a job application question in Greece?
Actually, our priests are the Christian Orthodox priests, are public servants. They are paid from the government. They hired about 10,000 priests in the last 2 or 3 years, I think, and they are all paid while they cut off the doctors and the medical staff that we needed during COVID, for example. We needed more priests than doctors. That's a paradox.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Did not know that. Are there many other pagan groups in the area or in throughout Greece?
We have the Native Greek Council that celebrates and works with the native Greek deities, and they follow the old texts. And we have not legal, but many small groups
Okay.
like covens, some of them practice witchcraft, some of them are pagan, and some are Wiccan. We try to have a good relationship with all of them. Most are aggressive to anything legal or recognized, but most of the people that are in many groups, especially Facebook and Instagram, they enjoy having read our articles, contact with our meetings, and general stuff. Whenever we have an open ritual to close spaces though, although we want to have rituals in the nature as we had in the past. That's a long story. And in those rituals, we have many participants from outside our temple that they want to come, they want to see how we act, how we celebrate, and that's a good thing as we promote awareness. But we're in the middle of our trial for more recognition and for more people to come and join.
That's fantastic. I love when people from all over get together and watch and see how each other does, basically. So you have been, both of you actually have been very, very busy. You're doing a lot of work. Can you tell us about some of the things that you're doing tradition wise and for the school?
Um, we've worked on the translations for the Corellian tradition degree system. We have translated first degree in full. Second degree, we're working on the comparative religions, the lesson we didn't know we had to work with. And then we're going to start with the third degree materials. And I believe that the second degree was the most challenging. Too much info, too many sources to look for, too many words that they needed special translation. But it was a great work for both the translators and the members that will have the opportunity to work with the Greek materials to better understand and get a better understanding, yeah,
Right.
of the material. Yeah.
That's what I was trying to get at because I know that especially with second degree, obviously it's the larger of the three. It's very detailed, and there's words in there that I go to the dictionary and look up. And I was trying to get at like translating. People think, oh, they're just translating it; they're speaking their language, but it's so much more than that. It's extremely hard to get the source and for the meaning to still be the same, just translating words. And I know that from Lord Deej and I talking about translating things into Spanish. And you
Mm-hmm.
don't realize how something, just a little slight switch of something, could make the meaning completely different. So it's wonderful, and I'm so happy that you're both doing this, and it will give the Greek community easier access to read the material and what they're comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
And since you have,
fantastic.
mm,
And do you have,
and since you asked about which school, Reverend Ioanna, our secretary of the temple and the community,
Hmm.
has taken the Living a Weekend Life from which school and started translating as he does the lessons. So we have that
Wonderful.
too.
I love that.
That is fantastic. And that's a
Yeah,
huge
and that
one.
came from a discussion with Lori when she was here, that it was a great lesson. And then Ioanna wanted to check it out, and she loved it.
Awesome.
That's amazing.
it's an excellent course.
It is, yes.
It's very detailed in the exercises. So if you do it right and do those exercises, it really integrates you into a very spiritual path within Wicca in your everyday life. I'm so excited to hear that she's translating those. Are there any other members of your temple that are also working on translations?
Reverend Stavros is the treasurer of the temple, and he also helps with translating the announcements or different articles that need to be posted. And he has translated many rituals in the past, so he helps in that way.
Wonderful. So tell us a little
But
bit.
for the moment, the translators group is a bit small, but we hope that will grow.
Wonderful. Is there any other people that you'd like to recognize in your temple for work that they do?
Well, I'd like to thank all of the members of the Temple of the North because each of them participate in the rituals with ideas or helping make the ritual happen. And many of them starting writing articles, which is something I began because every time I looked for some informations about myths or gods, goddesses, and traditions, folklore, and things like that in Greece, I couldn't find anything that didn't have inside them something from Christianity. And I didn't like it because I wanted to have access to pagan and Wiccan informations without these things get inside sneaky. So I started writing articles. Um, and for a long time, me and Konstantinos, the only members who was doing this job because I think the other members thought they weren't good enough. Maybe, I don't know. But the last year, I saw that many new members starting to write about things that wanted to say with their way. And we have now many, πώς λέγονται οι αρθρογράφοι?
Post writers or writers.
Writers. Okay, we have many writers.
We can call them journalists, but yeah.
And I like that we have this polyphony of people writing about things that have in their heart.
And you, Konstantinos?
Well, I have many members to give special thanks, but mostly I'd like to mention our priestess Haram, the doctor of the temple. Whenever we want medical advice, she's the one to call, no matter the time. I'd like to thank and mention, of course, Reverend Angeliki or Sandy, our lawyer. She helped with all the procedures that we needed for the non-government community, and of course our members, our priests, our priestesses, our dedicants that still work with their degrees and helping with the everyday issues of the temple.
Great.
Either the celebration, either the rituals, the Esbats, the Sabbats, writing posts, writing rituals, but however they offer their time, it's very important, and we really appreciate that.
I always describe temple members as threads in a tapestry. Each one brings their own color, their own texture, their own dynamics to the temple. And by sharing their energies, by coming to the events, to the gatherings, it builds that tapestry. And it's a beautiful, beautiful weave.
Yes, we need this because without this, we are just the two of us doing what?
Mhm. Yeah. Okay, Lady Lori, would you like to take us to intermission?
And we will be right back. And we are going to listen to a song for a few minutes, and we will be right back.
And this is from Reverend, I can't pronounce his name.
The song, I'm sure it's going to be put up on there. It is from Sensuous Gain, I think,
Yes,
is the name of the song.
thank you.
Inside from Sensuous Gain.
living on my own. I don't know what it means. I've been here before, trying to live my dreams. The world beyond the veil is there for all to see, but still we close our eyes, ignore the mystery. And I can't believe the wasted time. The years weigh heavy on my mind. I don't know what we hope to find inside. Once there was a way to live in harmony. Once there was a way to prosper and be free. The goddess taught us well. Somehow we lost our way. We fell beneath the spell, and the spirit fell away. And I can't believe the wasted time. The years weigh heavy on my mind. I don't know what we hope to find inside. Someday we may return to the bosom of the earth, the spirit of the land, the home of our rebirth. The time it ticks away, the longer that we wait. I hope we mustn't learn we can't escape our fate. And I can't believe the wasted time. The years weigh heavy on my mind. I don't know what we hope to find inside.
And we're back. Again, that was Inside from Sancheskine. Absolutely beautiful. It's the first time I heard that song. Very moving. So we have some questions that you wanted to answer.
Sure. I see that Savit asks how many people are in the community and in the temple. There are 45 active, 45 members, registered members at the temple, but about 20 to 25 are the active ones.
Wow.
Well, it helps when our bases are in two cities at the same time. Being in Athens and in Thessaloniki, the two biggest cities in Greece, helps with people come together and having the chance to participate and get to know us.
Wonderful. Lord Silas, you had some questions?
I sure do. So my next question, I'm going to refer this to Lady Thalia. So a couple years ago, you joined both us at the Mystical Rainbow Temple and the Temple of Hecate for a beautiful event that we put on together called Between the Light and the Shadows, that was celebrating both Aphrodisia for Aphrodite and Hecatesia for
Mhm,
Hecate.
mhm.
And by the way, you have a beautiful singing voice.
Oh, thank you.
And what are your thoughts on each of those festivals? And do you celebrate those festivals in Greece?
First of all, I want to say that I was moved from your invitation. Um, it makes me feel that I was connected with other Corellians. It was the first time I felt it. The second was with Lori. but with Lori was more physical, so it was
Oh, yes, of course.
more loving, but it was the first time, and it was very important for me because even though the ritual was in Spanish, and I don't know Spanish, but I felt that I understand the meaning of the things that you were saying, uh, mostly in my heart, and I know exactly what was going on, even though the words were not
Familiar.
clear to me, but the feeling was.
I love
So
that.
it was a great thing for me to meet. I don't know if I say it right. Hazoli Marquez.
And
Yes,
from
she's a
Venezuela.
very loving person.
Yes, she is.
I loved her, and we're both dance tribal dance, and
Ah,
we
yes.
want to say it together one day. Yes. So about the ritual, here in Greece, we are not celebrate these 3 days as you do. It's a celebration that is modernized. And I think that mostly people outside Greece celebrate this.
Okay.
But we are open to participate and
I love that. Uh,
yes.
coming up soon, actually, I've been thinking about doing it again. I did it a couple years ago, I think, too. That was the rite of peace between Aphrodite and Ares uh, in mythology, saying that
Oh.
only love can defeat war, um, and that's coming up soon. What do you think about that?
Is it something, because I don't know if I understand right, it is something that you want to do?
Yeah, I did the ritual once a couple years ago also, um, the rite of peace with Aphrodite and Ares. Thinking about doing it again. What are your thoughts of that particular ritual?
Well, it's I think I would like to participate if you want me to, and I think it's very interesting how love can connect things that are divided, because that's what we are doing here.
It is.
We want to connect things that is divided in our plane of existence,
Thank you.
and it's very symbolical and it moves me. Yes.
I love that. And here's a question from Bradley. Let's put this one to Lord Konstantinos. What's your favorite seasonal celebration or Sabbath, and how do you like to observe it?
Well, my favorite period of time is when we have the times of passing. For Wicca, that's mostly at Soen, but if we look at the Roman calendar, that's the Saturnalia and the Paternalia, which goes in February. These time of periods of times are very important to me. I always feel connected to our ancestors, to either spiritual ancestors or family ancestors, and I usually let's celebrate them with a silent dinner, supper, or with the ritual communicating with the dead or the ancestors. Depends on what spirit will appear.
Very nice,
Yeah,
very nice.
Chosen Path
Mm.
does. Um, we call them the silent suppers. We call dumb suppers because we
Yes.
do not speak.
Mm.
And then we share the spirit messages over dessert. So we also do that here. I know one of the things we like to talk about when we were doing our coffee shop chats was how my temple and your temple and other temples that I was aware of, how we might do things either differently or the same. And one of the things that I fell in love with was, especially for second degree, how your students have to demonstrate the skill, not just pass a test, question and
Yes.
answer test. So, would you like to
Oh,
tell us a little bit more about how you make sure that the skill set is really there in a temple basis?
Yeah, that's quite painful for our students because we have compressed the second degree materials, and that is, we don't just do 101, 102, 103 as different textbooks, but we combine them. So whenever you start with the first lesson of the second degree, you have tarot, you have the theory of how to make a ritual, and how to what's the spell for the second degree?
Spells for second degree.
spells for second degree.
Grits, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
Grits.
So we combine them and we have them do all of them. So someone who wants to pass the second degree first lesson has to do a reading, has to plan a ritual, has to cast the spell, and after all this practice, they move on to the next class. That goes to for astrology and whatever lesson they are doing. We don't want to for them to be proficient in each course. That's
I
almost
love
impossible
that.
within material. But yeah,
And
Oh, that is
Thalia,
fantastic.
Thalia, can you explain your mentoring system within the temple? How your students mentor other students?
The first two mentors are me and Konstantinos, and as the other members, the other priests, go through the system of the degrees, they can be mentors too if they want, and they prove they can. So we give this line Konstantinos told you before about how lessons must be done. And we can πώς είναι το επιβλέπω, Κωνσταντίνε?
supervise.
We supervise their mentoring, and at the half of the lessons, in the sixth lesson, when the student is done with the half circle, we examine them as the two first mentors, so we know that everything is as it must be done.
I
Wow.
love that. I love that. Because by the time a
By the
student
way,
gets to third degree, they're going to have to be
Yes,
able to mentor.
yes.
And this builds that skill. I love it.
I love that they're actually doing the practical work
Of
monthly
course.
or with each lesson, and they have to show it. I think that's fantastic.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
And not just once, especially in the second degree, we go to the five first lessons again and again, so they do it more easily and without stress. To understand
Wonderful.
that it's not an exam, but it's something they have to achieve and make them for themselves. It's not something they do for us, but to learn it.
Right.
Mhm.
Yes.
Very good.
I love that.
For me, it's also essential. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No.
That every student have to participate in a ritual in some way, so that they know what a person who make a ritual have to do to be in their place, even if it's in a small part, so they can understand and give a better part of themselves when they participate in the ritual.
I know at Chosen Path, I'm a temple mentor myself, and I require my first degree students to lead a ritual.
Mm-hmm.
I require my second degree students to teach a study group and lead a ritual.
Mm-hmm.
And then third degree students, I only ask to lead rituals because they have a 4-hour class as part of
Mm-hmm.
their tradition requirements. So it's interesting to see how the different temples
Yes.
do those
Mhm.
processes.
No, I'm
Silas,
not.
I think we
Yes.
have another question.
Yes, we do. The question comes from Agaliki Goka. Forgive me if I pronounced that wrong. The question says, apart from Sabbats and Esbit rituals, are there any other activities that you organize?
Of course, apart from Sabbath and Esbat, we also do the main rituals of any religion, marriage or hand fasting, awakenings, funeral rituals, and all the in between, coming of age, for example. And we are in the process of having a coming of age ritual in a few months. So that's a good question.
And
But
I also like.
you do other things besides rituals, though,
Yes,
too.
I wanted to say about that. It's not only the rituals, it's also philosophical conversations, and it's about healing circles and dancing classes. And also, once we did a theatrical part about A Midsummer's Night's Dream. And we like to experiment with many arts and many things more intellectual, except the rituals.
Nice.
And
Yeah, Thalia was right about that.
you also do
We
social
do.
things, right, Konstantinos?
Mhm.
You also do social things, don't you?
Yes.
Yes, we do. Actually, the things Thalia mentioned about the philosophical conversations and the healing circles are part of the Circle of Apollo and Circle of Asclepius, that are orders of the tradition that we sometimes cooperate with the daily life of Serpent of Hermes. That's why I didn't think of them. But yeah, we do this, and we have many social events like a meet and greet. And actually, we have a meet and greet meeting in Athens in 9th of April, in 2 weeks
And I
in
hear
Greece.
that you have a Dungeon and Dragons game, too.
Yep, that's also another activity we organize for the better socialization of our members. Because when we just meet for rituals or discussions, there is a more formal type of conversations or actions, and that way we have the chance to meet, relax, play, chat,
Nice.
and get better and getting to know each other better.
That's so
Beautiful.
And not they are not just these activities. We plan to have more, like travelings, like going to archaeological sites as we did with Lori, and many other activities to have the chance to relax, to chat, to not just be there for a specific reason, but to meet each other, to know each other,
I think
Beautiful.
to develop our family
the archaeological
bonds.
sites were just a highlight of my visit for me. Often everyone is like this everywhere around the world. We don't take advantage of what's right on our doorstep. And it takes a visitor to get us to go to the things that are on our doorstep. And for me to walk the grounds where ancestors worship the same gods I do,
Right.
to experience the vision that Hecate granted me at the Parthenon of a procession in progress. It was just unbelievable to me.
We are waiting for you in
I'm
Thessaloniki.
coming back next year. I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
And I'll be in your city this time. But for your temple members to do that just as a family to go, if they enjoy it half as much as I did, it will be beautiful.
Awesome. Lord Silas, we have time to get one more good question in.
That sounds great. So, how would somebody become involved virtually with the Serpent of Hermes Temple? Is there an option for that?
There is an option for anyone to participate in virtually. We have virtual rituals, we have virtual meetings, but they are mostly in Greek. So if there is any Greek speaking member that wants to join, they can just email us and we'll provide them the necessary links to register.
Very good, very good. I have one more question that just came in from Agaliki Goka again, and I hope I pronounced that good. The question is there some advice you'd like to give to someone who is just now starting this path?
Talia,
I would
wanna
say
take this?
be open and don't let things they already think they know uh, make them not know what they have to learn, if I'm saying it right.
That's some good advice.
Mm.
Be open. Be open.
Awesome.
Any Lori D?
By the way,
Lori,
having seen the
any
chat,
questions?
I have to agree with Ebony that the second degree is the worst. The most
I
informative,
know
but the most
I
disturbing.
did enjoy it, okay? I'm a freak, I know.
No, I spent
Actually,
second grade banging my
I
head on my desk.
I took a very long time for my second degree, but I love the diverse numbers of topics
Right.
included in the second degree. So, like, I think that was very beneficial. But it took me a long time because life.
Mhm.
Um, Great. Well, thank you everybody for coming and seeing us today.
Yeah.
And a special thank you to our guests, Lord Konstantinos and Lady Thalia. It's been a pleasure speaking with you today. And don't forget to tune in next time, 1 month, 4 weeks, the fourth Sunday of the month at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We'll see you next time.
Till
Bye.
then, blessed be
Bye bye.
everyone.